Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Daily Ramble here on Claret and Booze. My name's Gary, and I hope you're having a brilliant bank holiday. Lovely and sunny out there, nice and warm. Loads to cover today, as you'd expect in the last week of the transfer window. But first, we're going to have a laugh at Arsenal, because we like doing that. We're going to cover Kudus's reasons for choosing us, reported today. Going to have a very quick look, just one observation back at my Brighton experience, which was such a good day. And we're going to cover all of the latest transfer news, including Saudi wanting 3 of our first teamers, which I think there is a way that might happen. So bear with me on that. And then in light of a minor Twitter storm set off by I think Nick's watch-along video, I just want to restate what the channel is all about and what it's intended for. So very quickly, I've had a busy weekend. I mean, Brighton Saturday, but then yesterday we went to the Reading Festival, which was my first ever music festival. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But getting home, honestly, an hour's walk. We finished at 11:45. Hour's walk down the canal or down the river to the car park. 2 hours to get out of the car park. 2 hours to get home. Got in bed at 4:30 this morning. It was diabolical. I'll tell you what, if and when I go to a festival again, I'm going to be getting some kind of car to drop me and pick me up at the entrance. I ain't having that crap anymore. As for the rest of it, brilliant. Really good day out. Highly recommended. What kept me awake on the way home, because I was tired, right? Apart from a can of Monster, what kept me awake on the way home was listening to Nick and Nigel's show from last night, which I thought was excellent. It was really good. They were both on form. Kept me awake all the way home. Nigel described himself as the fourth Beatle of Claret and Booze. I think of him more as the Paolo Di Canio of the channel. He doesn't turn up every week, but when he does, he always puts on a show and he entertains the crowd. So I think Nigel is Di Canio for me. So look, let's go and talk about, before we get into the Arsenal video. I love that, by the way. Why Mohammed Kudus chose us. Now, he said that Tim Steidten sold him the project and this club is going places. And I am really excited to hear that. Really excited to hear it. It's music to my ears. This is something that, I mean, look, we know, we speculated why Tim ended up there. We don't know, but let's just say he was hired by Sullivan. Let's just go for that. And if he was, what I want to see Sullivan do now is completely back this guy. He's proven that he can bring in very, very good players at reasonable prices, and he can improve this club. He's proven in his past appointments that he can really develop a club and turn them into a force. And I want to see him do that with West Ham. So please, Sullivan, not that you're listening, put your money where your mouth is with Tim Steidten, or continue to put your money where your mouth is, and actually let him push this project all the way through to the end. So look, that's a bit of a serious one, but on the Kudus thing, and why he chose us. That's great. That's great. Now I'm sure Arsenal would sneer at that. I said the other day that Chelsea fans and Arsenal fans were a little bit bitter about this. So this video, to my delight, on Twitter this morning, this little video from Paddy Power popped up. So I'm just going to share it with you.
Mohammed Kudus to Arsenal could be the perfect piece to end our summer signings, and according to Sammy Mockbell, it could well be happening. But this could be a very, very big signing for us.
Yes, James, I'm here. Come on, you Irons.
That is just brilliant. Paddy Power, they've got some really great creative people who put those little videos together, and they seem to nail it every time. So thanks to them for that. Really made my day, brightened up my day. So my trip to Brighton on Saturday, I've got to say, was one of the, and I've had a lot of these in the last couple of years, one of the best away days ever. It really was. Bright sunshine, not too hot. We drove down there, no traffic, got a beautiful place to park, straight opposite a pub, where we met everybody else that we knew, and we had a lovely drink. And went in there and didn't expect anything, as you know, from the game. Last thing I expected, by the way, was Alvarez to get a start. I explained that before. I thought Moyes might struggle with picking him, but look, big credit to Moyes for realising that he's got a player on his hands here. Oh my God, has he got a player on his hands? He put him straight into his correct position, which is guarding the two centre-halves. And we were, first half, stood behind the goal. I was watching him. I couldn't take my eyes off him because the guy is like perpetual motion. If you look at him, he's constantly looking left and right to try and spot danger. He's manhandling their strikers, but not fouling them, manhandling them. I mean, really making life uncomfortable for them, right? It's quite hilarious. When he goes in for a tackle, boy, he means it. When he cleared out, what's his name? Oh, I don't know. The one of the strikers. You heard the thud. It was reminiscent of the old days. I absolutely loved it. Another thing he does as well is constantly looking, scanning the horizon for danger. And when he spots a bit of danger, he is like a viper. He snaps at that danger and he closes that problem out. This is what he's all about. He is top drawer. And I think as a defensive midfielder, he is arguably a better defensive midfielder than Rice. When you consider that Rice was, he had more to his game, he carried the ball up the pitch, blah, 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 blah. But if you separate those two elements, the carrying the ball up the pitch, pushing the team forward, and the defensive midfield, and you say Ward-Prowse, who's another one who's impressed me so much. If you take him plus Alvarez and you compare that to what Rice gave us, in my opinion, we're in a better place. We're in a better place now. And without relying on the big ego, knowing that he's going to leave at the end of the season and all that crap, right? That's kind of gone. So I loved it. I loved the day out. The defensive performance in the first half didn't bother me because, like I said, I was watching Alvarez and I thought he was amazing. And it was a bit of a fortuitous substitution, depending how you look at it, with Souček getting a head injury and going off, and that Moyes did the right thing and brought on Benny, and that really opened the game up, and that is what started to really excite me inside my mind. I just thought, this is proper counter-attacking football. I mean, incisive, accurate football, relentless, ruthless counter-attacking. And when I said a few weeks ago that Moyes ball is tolerable when you've got a good counter-attack, this is what I meant. Now, with Kudus coming in, I would imagine he would be, you're sort of replacing Benny, and that would put Benny onto the bench. More about that later, by the way. But this really makes my mouth water, the thought of Kudus coming in, the thought of potentially another striker coming in as well, because Antonio had a fantastic game, an amazing game, again, 2 weeks running. And the finishes were just brilliant from all three players, but especially Bowen and especially Antonio. So yeah, it was a great day out, absolutely fantastic. If we can bring in these couple of players, another striker, another right back, because I think, contrary to what Nick and Nigel said last night, I saw one instance right in front of me where Soufal surrendered possession and they got a shot on goal a couple of seconds later. And that's the sort of thing where he makes a mistake and he'll sometimes cost you. I love Soufal, but I'd like to see him be the backup right back. So I'd like to see a new right back brought in. So him, left wing with Kudus is sorted. Striker. If you had those elements, then we've got one hell of a squad, because we're going to be nasty, horrible bastards to play against. Right? And I don't mind being nasty, horrible bastards. If you look back last year, we were top of the Fair Play League. Top of the Fair Play League. 0 red cards. And I think there was only about 30 yellows or something. And so that says that we played very, very fair. We didn't get stuck in too much and everything else. This season is a whole different ball game. Red card already, 9 yellow cards in 3 games. And I'm all up for that. I am all over that, right? That is, I want to see teams fear us. And I think if we had that amazing pace into the side, and Moyes, doesn't do what comes naturally and insists that Souček has to start. Souček doesn't really have a starting place in that team, right? Unless there are injuries or it's a European game or another cup game. in my opinion, that berth, because he basically was swapped out for Said Benrahma, and that's how he made the place for Alvarez. That berth is not Souček's. That is the berth of an attacking player. And I'm hoping that Moyes does what he did with Alvarez, with Kudus, and he sees the quality and he said, yeah, I'll have some of that. Right? That's what I hope. Let's see what transpires. So on to transfer news. The latest adventures of Tim. So Tim Steidten, the jet-setting Tim Steidten, has jetted off to Brazil. You know he never comes back without his player. This time it's Yuri Alberto Monteiro da Silva. Rolls off the tongue. Call him Yuri Alberto just for short. 22 years old. 1 Brazilian cap. So perfect time to bring a player like this in. He was reported on by Arsenal Insider, one of their publications, 2 years ago. So that they were saying at the time that what's his name, Edu, his contacts in Brazil would see this deal done. Similar to that video I showed you earlier, they kind of just took it for granted. That was a couple of years ago when he was 20. So this is before he developed and arguably is a much better player now. He's just under 6 foot. He's got massive upper body strength. Finishing is apparently fantastic and instinctive, mainly with the right foot, but the left foot is also very good. Great heading as well. Link-up play, excellent. Fast, but not the fastest. So I would say that would be Antonio as well. Loves to dribble and has been likened to a striker version of Martinelli. Now, this is all very exciting to me. And this apparently came through Newman's links in Brazil. That's really good. He's played for Santos International, Zenit St. Petersburg, and then Corinthians. Scored 45 goals in 121 across all those clubs. Some of them were on loan. So if you look at that, he scored 1 in just over 2.68 games throughout his whole career, his whole brief career. And we might be getting him at exactly the right time, just as he's maturing, This is excellent. So, my reflections on Moyes and Tim. So, a couple of weeks ago, or last week, whatever, lost track, made a video saying, again, that Moyes doesn't like Tim. I think I was wrong. There it is, I'm putting it out there. I think I was wrong. Sometimes you are. My opinions, we all have opinions, and I'm going to touch on this later. This channel is all opinion-based. There's no agenda, it's opinion-based. But my opinions are these. I don't personally think that Moyes is not my long-term plan, right? This season is Moyes, and I will support him and his team all the way. I love seeing us win, and I ain't too fussed how we do it, to be honest. Other people differ. Nick, for instance, he loves beautiful football. This stuff, I don't care. I can enjoy counter-attacking football as long as it's good counter-attacking football. That's fine by me. But I understand how people can be critical of the style, right? Personally, I don't mind. I don't mind it. We bring in pace. I think this could be a very, very watchable season like that, Jesse Lingard season. More on him later. And as Nigel described it, some people might see it as fear-based football because defence first and all that. There is a way to dispel that because fear-based football should only really come into it as in sitting deep and waiting for the counter against the better sides. And it remains to be seen what happens when we play the weaker sides, like Luton on Friday night. So long may these wins continue, and I hope we go strength to strength. And regarding Moyes, I wish him well and his team this season, and I also hope it goes at the end of the season. But with our thanks and blessings, and Tim can get on with this project and take it to the next stage. Alternatively, and there is an alternative, let's be honest. If Moyes changes from the ultra defensive system, and even Nick said this last night, right? If he changes from the ultra defensive system against each and every team, and he kind of customizes the team, takes a custom approach for each opposition, so that we do get to see against the weaker teams more of an all-out attack, then I would be happy with that. And I would see if we had a good season and he was playing in that style, I could perfectly well see how they would give him another contract. But he's got to do that first, right? He's got to do that first. If it's defence first all season, then I don't really care what happens. I think he's got to move on. But let's not ignore the fact that there is a potential that he might not. If he does brilliantly this year, There is a danger that he might not, and so we should consider that. We'd be foolish not to. So, on to the final week of the window. Saudi, 2 clubs in Saudi have come in and said they want. One wants Antonio, and the other one want Zuma and Benny. Now, Zuma and Benny are obviously, they're Muslim, and I think that is a big attraction to Saudis as well. Zuma is obviously our captain at the moment. We know he's injury prone. We know he's not going to play the whole season. Benny, we know, has his limitations, but was fantastic on Saturday. But we know has his limitations with a final ball. And Antonio, look, he started the season on fire. On fire. And his stock is now very, very high. When you consider that the Saudis, they came in before and they didn't want to pay a transfer fee. Well, sorry Saudis, try doing that now, mate. Last couple of weeks have bumped his transfer fee up somewhat, I would imagine, especially to the Saudis, because they too have to pay the Declan Rice tax on any transfers. So look, and this ties in, the Zuma rumour ties in with us being linked with Harry Maguire again. Now, sorry to say this, but it does. Now, that would make more sense to me than bringing in Maguire with Zuma, right? If he's brought in to replace him, I think that's okay. I mean, both of them are suited to a similar style of backs to the wall defending. Maguire can do that, Zuma can do that. Don't really matter. There is the sell-on issue with Maguire, but not my problem. Ain't my money. If we can land, like I said earlier, another striker, a right back and a backup left back, we are looking like a complete team. A real complete and frightening proposition for anybody to play against. So I want to see that happen this week as well. Going back to Benny, this ties in with the next rumour, which is around Lingard. There is now a rumour that Lingard is going to sign a deal. And some are saying that either Benny or Fornals, in brackets, I'll add this one, or Cornet might be making way. But if you think about the Saudi rumour, that could be why Benny would be let go. Because then we'd have Lingard on the left, we'd have Kudus on the left as well, potentially. So, all in all, I think we'd have better options than we've got today. And look, that's not a dig at Benny. I think he's great. I think he's great. And he does get me off my seat. But more often than not, he puts me straight back on my seat again. But I do like him, and I'll never forget what he did with that penalty in the cup final. A great player with a lovely family who I met on the plane on the way home as well. And Antonio, I think if we were to bring in a new striker, then that would free up, because we've now got Kudus who can play as a striker as well. So new striker, Kudus. I would think Ings will be moved out to somewhere more suitable for him this week. Hope so anyway. So that would, I think if we bring in one more striker, either this Yuri bloke from South America or En-Nesyri, and they're the two that are being linked, then I think that clears the way for Antonio to get his move. We know he needs it financially. He has put in, he's been amazing this week. But one thing it's done for us is, apart from give us a couple of wins, the other thing it's done for us is it's boosted his price. It's boosted his value. It's also boosted his earning power as well. So no doubt there'll be a few clubs wanting to sign him, and the wages will skyrocket. I mean, if he goes to Saudi, he'll never have to work again, will he? Let's face it. And good luck to him. So look, this is speculation. I'm trying to, put the different jigsaw puzzle bits together and try and find out how it fits. And I think that may be how it fits. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised. I do expect some incomings and outgoings this week, and that's the way I see it at the moment. So that's the transfer window done. Now, finally, just one more topic. I just want to talk about the channel. There's been a lot of kind of personal abuse. And abuse about the channel, actually. A couple of people said worst West Ham channel on YouTube. I thought, fair enough. But anyway, look, when you do YouTube, when we started doing this, we knew we put ourselves out there to be shot at. That's fine, right? Look, I've got grey hair. Look, I'm a bit overweight. Have a go at me. Call me as many names as you like. That's fine. But we do it because we love West Ham. We don't make anything of note in terms of money. I mean, some guy I had an interaction with this morning. Again, I'm never going to mention names. It's just cheap publicity. But accused us of scamming people. I thought, how are we scamming people? We're making no money out of it, mate. We do this, literally. We don't have a Patreon. We have a few very special members, and it is a few, who donate to us every month, a small amount. And we make a couple of £100 a month out of this, let me be honest, right? And that just about covers our costs, right? Because we don't see it that way. We don't see it as a vehicle to make a load of money. We see it as a sideline, as a hobby, tied to something we really love, West Ham. We love talking about West Ham. We also love the community we've built together on here as well. It's been brilliant, and that's why Nick introduced the phone-in on Sunday nights. And I've got to be honest, you know, apart from the personal attacks and the keyboard warriors, I wish one or two of those people would pick up the phone on Sunday night. You know, have a chat to Nick directly. Tell him what you think. You're always welcome. We're not going to shut anyone down. We're about opinions. You're entitled to yours. We're entitled to ours. And that's all we do. We're just three East End blokes, really, who have got season tickets and been, you know, home and away to West Ham for several years. We've got Nigel, who's also a Towner, an East Ender. You know, we love West Ham. And for people to say we don't love West Ham, it's a bit insulting, to be honest. So look, if you want to have a go at us and you want to tell us what you think of the channel, pick up the phone and talk to us on Sunday night. You're more than welcome. But when we say something, just to be clear, it's just our honest opinion. We're just saying, you know, I thought something last week, then I learned something, I see something, I think something different. We're human, right? And sometimes our opinions are going to be wrong or a little bit controversial. And you can disagree. You can say, you're not wrong. I disagree with that. You know, that's a load of rubbish because I think this. That's great, right? But when it gets personal, it's a little bit unpleasant, to be honest. Unpleasant and unnecessary. So look, that's the end of it. I'm not going to say anymore. But thank you to all of you beautiful people out there who watch this channel. It really does mean a lot to us. You know, it feels like a bit of a family on this channel. We have you know, lots of the same people talking to us all the time, and it's a laugh. We like having a laugh on this channel. That's what we do. That's why we started doing it, and that's why we're going to keep on doing it. All right. So yeah, thank you for all your support, and hopefully John will be back this week as well. He's got the longest holiday ever. But that's it. That is the show. I hope you continue to have a great bank holiday Monday. Well, that's a bit of an assumption, assuming you're having a great bank holiday Monday already. But anyway, hope it continues. Have a good week at work, etc. There's going to be a lot of transfer news this week, so we will be popping up with some shows probably every day. Not saying we usually do, but for the transfer window final week, yeah, I think we'll have to. But we'll only do that as and when something happens. All right. So that's me done. Please, if you've enjoyed this show, subscribe to our channel, Claret and Booze. If you're, you know, especially if you don't like us. Well, no, not especially. If you like us, subscribe. But if you don't like us, subscribe. Or at least watch one of our videos or a couple of our videos in full and see if you like them. And then consider subscribing. Until next time. Bloody hell, I tied myself up in knots here. Until next time, see you soon. Second in the league, just behind Man City, above Tottenham and Arsenal. Come on, you Irons.